you're gonna carry in a bunch of assumptions about what you think you need to do, what you think you need to say, how you think you need to do things, and you might be completely wrong. Like,
you are most likely going to be completely wrong.
you don't know what you don't know, right? And so suspend your assumptions. What's up, everybody? It is another episode of the Tactical Agent Podcast. You have Mike, Chris, and Trey with us today. Trey and Chris finally decided. Oh, Chris was here the last couple weeks, maybe. I don't remember.
Yeah,
I lose track. It's Danny that doesn't love us anymore. He's gone. He's in the middle of moving his 100-day video series of moving from California to Texas.
Yes.
So he's being tactical about his move. He's including people along the way. So, and Trey doesn't have glasses anymore, it seems like. So,
LASIK. Did you?
Yeah, I had a lens replacement. Literally, they cut my eyeballs and put an artificial lens in there, so I'll never need glasses again.
Artificial lens. Did this thing hurt? Did the procedure hurt?
It didn't feel good.
Did they numb you at all, or like how does that work?
You're awake and they put numbing drops on your eyes, but yeah, you have to be awake because you have to like look where they tell you to look, and it's probably the most traumatic thing that ever happened. But I can see great.
How long did it take before you could see clear? Well, like you feel like, oh wow, I don't need glasses. This is great.
I mean, probably like 2 days, but yeah, it's great. It's just great because it's one less thing I have to remember besides my anniversary.
If you just tell me what that is, I'll remind you. I'll put it in my calendar to remind you.
Sorry. I know you will.
All right, let's get into it. I wanted to talk today about your first 45 days as a new real estate agent. And I picked 45 because there's some popular YouTube videos that say 30. And I'm like, let's give it a little bit more of a buffer than that. Let's talk about the first 45 days. Your first 45 days. If you have an agent coming to you saying, what do I need to do in my first 45 days? Like, we'll start with you, Trey. What is your number one answer? Your first 45 days in business.
The number one thing I would do is I would hang out with the workers. Just like, I mean, honestly, it's like my first 45 days of patrol. I just identified who are the successful people, like knowledgeable, and they want to work and stop cars and stuff. It's the same thing I did, or an agent should do in the first 45 days, is identify who are the workers that actually are practitioners and do well with their business.
Okay. Would you ask those people to coach or mentor you? Or like, is that who you would go to? Right?
Yes. 100%.
So is it, because this is one of my answers. So I'm like, is it fair to say like find a coach or find a mentor?
Yes.
Okay. So somebody that like in proximity to you, especially if like, I guess if you're in a team environment, right? How would you adjust that for somebody that maybe is coming into the business and they're independent? Like they're not on a traditional team, but they get their license. How would you help them know who the workers are or who to approach?
So I would say if you like join either like a accountability group or like a mastermind group, because most of the time mastermind groups, it's basically the same people that jump on, because over the however long that mastermind group was a thing, I'm sure that people come back with new information or like, hey, we went over this a couple weeks ago. I tried it. It either worked or didn't work. So I think if you're an independent person that is getting into this, first 45 days, I would identify who you want to align yourself with. And then if it's not just one person or a mentor, like if there's no team environment, then I would get with a group. Like, and then when you get with a group, the ideas and the relationships that you'll start will definitely pay dividends in the end.
Gotcha. All right. What about you, Chris?
I'm going to sound like a broken record, but I would connect with people, invest in relationships, and ask for business in the right way at the right time. That's what I would do. What I mean by that is, as far as connecting with people, I would go talk to people and find out, use those, like we say all the time, use those conversations, those connections, those coffee dates, those, whatever, to find ways to invest in my relationship with that person. And then when I figure out the best way to invest in that relationship, be it somebody needs their grass cut because their legs broke, or they need somebody to watch their dog, whatever, while they, go do yoga or something one time. I don't know. I would just be the person that stepped in and did that kind of thing.
Mhm.
And then, um, like we always say, I would leverage that relationship and ask for business in the right way at the right time. Um, I would do that over and over again. I would do it for a whole lot of people. I would use it on what Trey was saying too. You're still doing the same thing when you're finding a mentor, you're connecting with that mentor, you're finding ways to invest in the relationship with that mentor, and then you're asking them to help you. Um, I'm doing the same thing when I'm looking for clients, when I'm looking for people to help me find clients. It's all a relationship game. So the first 45 days of your business should be hyper focused on building relationships.
When this this question is going to be a default, like, because I get it a lot. Okay, well, where do I go to build my relationships? I don't know many people. I don't really talk to that many people.
Mhm.
So okay, I hear you saying I need to connect with people and have conversations, but where do I go to do that, or how do I start to do that?
Well, that's not a question I can answer for an individual person if I don't know them. So, um, for me, right, if I was starting over in a brand new place, I would go find, a group of, like, a men's group, of guys that just hang out and drink bourbon and talk shit to each other. I would go find, um, a flight simulator. If there's a community of flight simulator enthusiasts in the area, I would, connect with those guys and start investing in those relationships, helping guys build their cockpits, whatever. Um, and that's if I started over in a new place. You also have, it's very rare to move somewhere and not know somebody there. I'm not saying it doesn't happen, but it's rare.
Mhm.
Um, So chances are, somebody in the community that can start getting your foot in the door. But it's like me, when I moved to Arizona, I knew 5 people with Arizona phone numbers. But those 5 people, I had built such a strong relationship with them that they started helping me meet other people. And it's like a snowball. You put in that work, you meet 1 or 2 people here or there, and then get those people to introduce you to more people who are like them, because you like this person that you're talking to. So you're probably going to like other people that they talk to, and you just snowball it from there and start growing your network.
Underneath,
And good.
go ahead, Trey.
No, I was just gonna answer, basically piggyback off what Chris said. It's like when people say the response that you just said, where they're like, "Well, I don't know how to nurture relationships, and I don't know how to do that." I would say 2 things to that person. Number one is, you can't say like, "Okay, I'm here to nurture the relationship." Like, let's nurture. Like, that's fucking weird, right? Like, that nobody would ever say that. But if you have the goal in mind, which is, okay, the reason I'm getting close with this person is to eventually get them to know me, like me, and trust me. Once the level of relationship is with trust, that's where we ask for the real estate business, right? Or that's where the conversation of real estate comes up. So it's just like the same thing as like, I want to be fit. I want to have a killer body and do CrossFit and all these crazy competitions. It's like nobody walks into a CrossFit gym. It's like, all right, guys, I'm a CrossFitter. I'm here to CrossFit. Like, no, you have to focus on the process and knowing the goal in mind. So the second thing is, if you just focus on the process of getting to know people and diving into relationships, then it's going to be much easier to get the result. People focus too much on the result and not focus on the process. And that's where I think the disconnect is.
I think underneath that is a need, because when we say like we need to connect with people, there is a lot of ways that you can connect with people. And what I heard you just say now, Trey, is about a process, right? So one of the things that I had written down was pick a system, right? So like whatever it is, right? So following, and generally, if you do the first thing, which is identify the workers and connect yourself to that person, hey, what is your system? What are you doing? And then you just do that, right? The innovate before you, or imitate before you innovate. Like learn to follow that, but picking a process, because that's what you described, I think, Chris, is like the process: connect, invest, ask. But that process needs to be systematized. And what I mean by that, and like getting connected and committed to the process, not just the results, is if you need to have, let's just say you need to have 10 meaningful conversations, meaningful, intentional conversations every day to move your business forward. And that's what you need to do. Is now you need to be able to systematize that. How am I doing that? Am I calling people? Am I going someplace in particular? Am I sitting down to lunch or coffee with somebody? How am I achieving this systematically? What is my approach going to be to actually have those conversations, whether they're with total strangers or whether they're with people that you've known for a long time? What is your approach to that? So I think, anything to add to that at all?
No, did we just have the same answer without even knowing the question?
We are going to have the same answer. So far, you said find the workers and then ultimately get mentored, or whatever. I put find a coach or mentor. I put that. Chris said I would connect, invest, and ask. You said like, yeah, you have to have a process that is getting you to know, like, trust, not just to get a sale, but to make an actual connection. So it's like you have to have a process, which I put pick a system. So that's there. I've got two other things written down. One is that you need to suspend your assumptions. And this is probably something that not a lot of new agents hear. And so if you're going to be new, if you're considering real estate, I would say open your ears on this one. You're going to carry in a bunch of assumptions about what you think you need to do, what you think you need to say, how you think you need to do things. And you might be completely wrong. Like,
You are most likely going to be completely
yeah,
wrong.
you don't know what you don't know, right? And so suspend your assumptions. So I think, like, we come from the cop background, same thing. Like, I used to tell people, like, on day one as a field training officer, when they got in the car, like, I want you to basically, unless it's the law, like a legal thing, I want you to forget everything you learned in the academy. All of it. Just take it and set it aside. I'm not saying that it's all invaluable, but I am saying, like, now the real learning begins. I want you to take what you think this job is going to be about and how you're going to do it. And I just want you to set it aside. And I want you to learn from me for the next 30 days. And then when you leave me and go to the next one, I want you to do the same thing. I want you to set that aside and just learn from the next person. So I think this all kinds of ties together, but for too many new agents, I think they hold on to their assumptions too long and no one corrects that. No, I don't know why, but it just seems to be a common thing. I don't know. Have you guys seen that or experienced that?
Are you saying that I don't really need a white BMW to sell
No, you
houses?
need a Tesla truck now. Now you need a
Oh
Tesla
yeah,
truck.
that's valid. Yeah.
It's the new white BMW.
Oh man. I forgot what I was gonna say. You distracted me with the white BMW.
Do you have a white BMW, Trey?
I had 3.
Oh, you are super agent then.
That's a
Kidding.
mega
I
agent.
couldn't even spell BMW, Chris. Come on. Okay, so suspend your assumptions is so good. Damn, Mike, you have me mind blown. Just to add to that, so like I'm thinking, let me ask you guys some questions. So my first 45 days as an agent, right? I did the real estate courses thing, Like I got my license and I was like, whoa, I got my license. Like now I'm basically certified to do something I have no idea how to do. So once I started, I remember talking to the broker and he's like setting me up on this random system. And I'm like, what do I do? So like, my assumptions was get a fancy business card, I don't know if you can, do like this little stupid pose. And then it was like, door knock. It was like, I didn't know how to do that stuff, but I just assumed that's what you did. And when I did it, I'm like, hey, I'm Trevor, real estate agent. They're like, get the fuck out of here. Like closing the door in my face. And I'm like, wow, this is weird. But if I would have suspended my assumptions sooner and listened to the people I identified as basically the what I looked up to in real estate in terms of production, morals, values, and the same back or similar background as me, I would have succeeded sooner. But it was because of the preconceived notions of what a real estate agent was supposed to do. But then you think about it, it's like, well, 87% of realtors fail in their first 5 years. So if 87% is the assumption, then just continuing to beat a dead horse on with the point you made, Mike, but you got to suspend your assumptions.
Yeah.
Right.
Which makes it all the more important to find someone that is where you want to be ahead of you, and then kind of attach yourself to them and then suspend those assumptions and just learn and execute. And then over time, my business doesn't look like the first person that I kind of shadowed or whatever, it looks very different, but that first little bit was important for me to understand what their thought process was or how they were doing it. And I could imitate that to some degree and realize I like this or don't like this, but you had to go through it. And just like the idea of connect, invest, and ask, or know, like, and trust, it really requires a system or a process to be attached to. I think suspending your assumptions requires the acknowledgement of a belief that you are not owed a problem-free business experience, right? That's not that's not how life works, and that's not how business works. Like, you are going to have challenges, and the sooner you can learn to embrace finding some sense of fulfillment and joy from solving problems and meeting challenges, I think like the longer your shelf life is, in the business, because too many assumptions are, if I'm doing real estate right, I don't have challenges. Like, and that's just not, you could do everything right and still face tremendous unknown challenges that confront you in the business. And until you say like, wow, I welcome that and I expect that and I grow from that, and so that growth creates a sense of excitement and joy and fulfillment, then you're going to be always sort of like, I feel like, grinding against that reality. What do you think about that?
I agree.
Yeah. And Alex Hermosi said this in the last conference we went to, is people have to stop expecting to find happiness in their careers or in their business, because you'll never ultimately be happy with your business, but you can find joy, which is just moments of like clarity and understanding of what you're going through in your process. First 45 days as an agent, you're like thinking that this is struggling, this is hard, this is weird, this doesn't feel good, this isn't what I see on TV kind of thing. But then you have like, I'm just reflecting on my business. Like, we do over 100 homes a year, and we fired 2 different transactions coordinators just within the first 3 months of the year. So like, we had to fire an employee and then hire another one and then fire another one and then hire another one. And like, it was a nightmare because then the deals got backed up. And it's like, so it's always a different struggle. And I can only imagine if you're doing 500 deals a year, like, I'm sure there's other struggles. So like, it'll never be this plateau of happiness that people expect. Like, it will never. And if you're not comfortable with that, maybe this isn't the right, not the right field for you.
Yeah. So, yeah, any type of independent contractor or self-employment or any other type of environment, if you're not into facing challenges, is probably something to consider.
It's like Nick Saban said, "Go sell ice cream." Everybody likes people who sell ice cream.
That's not
Yeah.
a bad idea. Right now with the heat wave, it sounds like a very profitable business model right now.
Right.
I like
high
it.
interest rates and hot weather. Here's some ice cream.
Exactly. Well, cool. It's interesting that we all are sort of like on the same page without planning the answers. Like it's kind of comes together. I like seeing that, and that's what happens almost all the time. And so this is some of our advice, guys, for your first 45 days. Hopefully you see this video 45 days before your license so that you can plan for your first 45 days. But if you're already in the throes of it, or you're in day 90 or day 450 and you're still hanging in there, but you're struggling, there's still hope. If you're really into this, if your gut's in it, if you want to grow a business, you can do this. If you really want it, you can do it. You just need the help and the push, like a coach, a mentor, but like a community of people around you, pushing you and helping you, encourage you to find your path. So if you want any help along the way, you can go to tacticalagents.com. Everything's free. There's no catch. There's no, we don't take your credit card information. There's no paid programs or anything else. You get a book, you get a community, you get a whole video course. It's all free. And you can reach out to any of us once you kind of get in that community. If you have follow-up questions, anything we're discussing here, great. And if the show adds value, tell a friend, I guess. That's your way you can thank us. Tell a friend about the show, like and review it, whatever. All the things.
All the things. Honestly, I think we're doing this all together without, we didn't practice this question, but I think we're really doing this because like there wasn't a Practical Agent podcast when I got my license. It was like, it's good information coming from a place of just wanting to help. I think you guys are awesome.
No, you're awesome.
No, okay.
I am awesome. Thank you for recognizing it.
I am awesome. All right, everybody. Well, appreciate you guys tuning in, listening, especially if you listened all the way to the end. You're the real hero. And we will see you in episode 60. I don't know. Maybe we'll do something special. I don't know what, but something.
Birthday cake.
We'll figure it out. Yeah. Trey's going to jump naked out of a birthday cake.
Woo!
We'll only show waist up because no one needs that. All right. We'll talk to you guys later.